Hey there viewers, and welcome back to the Southman Auto Channel. Got a quick tip Tuesday for you, free tip Friday, whatever day of the week it came out. 2005 Dodge Grand Caravan, the money light is on, no big surprise there. Evap code, P0455 and 456, so one is for a small leak, one is for a large leak. Lots of different problems on these. I'm going to show you a problem that is commonly overlooked. I'll give you kind of the brief rundown and show you how to quickly test it to see if that is the issue on your Caravan, Voyager, Chrysler product. Enhance, enhance, enhance. So this car has a built-in diagram for us. So this is our Evap system, and this is right under the hood where we can see it. Relatively simple system. This uses what they call an NVLD, a natural vacuum leak detection. So the easiest way to explain this one, let me unenhance you. I like to think about it like this. If you take your gas can, let's say your lawnmower gas can, and you have a shed, and it's the middle of summer, you go to the gas station, you fill up your gas can with gas, and you stick it in the shed, assuming it has caps on both ends, and on a blistering hot day, you go out there and the gas can is blown up like a blimp. It's because it, naturally expanded, the volatile fuel expands, and likewise too, if you fill it up when it's blazing hot out, and then you go out in the evening when it's cooled down, the sides of the gas can are sucked in. It went into a natural vacuum. This system works the same exact way, except it uses a switch to monitor the system as to when it's in a vacuum. So let me show you back on the diagram. So we look back on a diagram. Here is the switch. This is the NVLD switch, so to speak. So we look at it like this back at the beginning. Here's the engine. We take a vacuum. Purge Solenoid controls the vacuum back here to the canister. Canister pulls the vacuum on the tank. And then the NVLD has a switch. Now this has a set of like a spring and a weight in it that shuts off at a certain period, and then it also has a pressure switch that will vent out here to the atmosphere. So with all that being said, that's some large leak tests it'll do on it with the engine running. Now when the engine is off, what'll happen, now this is just kind of the condensed version, it gets a little more technical in this. When this is off for a given period of time, the system should be sealed. The purge solenoid should be closed. There should be no vacuum going back to the tank. And then when the tank builds a natural vacuum like your gas can does in the shed, like I say, when it cools off, it should close the switch inside this NVLD system. This has wires on it that go to the ECM, and it can tell when this is opened or closed. So the ECM determines a lot of different things: ambient air temp, how long the vehicle's been sitting, so on and so forth, and whether or not the switch should be closed over a given amount of time. And if that doesn't happen, it throws a gross leak or a small leak code. So potential problems: you could have a leaky filler neck, you could have a leak on the tank, which is all plastic, so pretty unlikely. Like I said, the switch can actually go bad where it actually does open and close, but electronically it doesn't send a signal back. We could have a leak at the charcoal canister, and so on and so forth. So typically, unhook the purge solenoid, we'll put a smoke machine on this line right here. This will fill the charcoal canister, it'll fill the tank, it'll come up through, and it will overpressurize the shutoff valve in the NVLD system, so we typically block this off. And what happens is, sometimes we get these codes, we smoke it, everything's full of smoke, and there is no leak. So what we have to do is look at this in a closed system. Typically, the purge solenoid is hooked up. If the purge solenoid is leaking internally when it's supposed to be off, and the key's off, and engine's off, if it's leaking internally, all the pressure that should be, the vacuum that should be building in the tank will actually go back through the purge solenoid and in the engine. So I guess what I'm getting at is the purge solenoid is a huge fault on these. I'm going to show you quick how to check them. So the purge solenoid on these Caravans lives right down here underneath. The top hose that hooks to it comes from the engine vacuum like we saw in the diagram, and then the lower hose goes back to the tank. And if you want to see if your purge solenoid is leaking, first and foremost you have to unplug it, because you don't want the ECM to have any control of it. Technically, with it unplugged, oh yeah, no, she's recording, Betty. With it unplugged, we should have vacuum going to it and nothing coming out of it, because it's not being commanded on. And we're going to find that's not the case here, so I'm going to go ahead and start this thing up. Hopefully it's still broke. Oh, you guys got a case of the shakes. Hold on. So I'm just going to take a vacuum gauge. We're going to hook to the purge solenoid. And you'll see it's going to draw a very slow vacuum. Hopefully you guys can see it through all your jitters. But we're starting to pull under a vacuum. go back to 0. So let me shut this off so you quick shut right. Honestly, when I get these in with small leaks, medium leaks, large leaks, all stored at once, first thing I go to is Purge Solenoid. Always verify that it works. I don't know, probably about 4 out of 10 times you'll get it right off the bat. If that's not it, then because I have it unhooked still, then I hook my smoke machine on it, go down, plug off the NVLD, and see if I actually indeed have a leak. The other thing you can do too is kick the Purge Solenoid on and see if your NVLD switch goes closed immediately. That's one of the fastest things you can do. You can take your test light, hook to ground, just jumper the control side here on the Purge Solenoid. It's going to send vacuum to the system. The NVLD switch should go closed immediately because they close at a very low vacuum. If that's the case and it doesn't close, that's where I would go next. But I just wanted to show you, quick like a little bunny, how to check the Purge Solenoid, why it can go bad, and why the Purge Solenoid actually causes a leak code. All right, folks, so we'll leave it at that. That is the super condensed layman's term of the NVLD system. A little more involved in that. There are certain test procedures that have to be done. I just wanted to show you one of the most overlooked items on there and a semi-commonly failed part. And if you get in the habit of just checking them first before you even get out the smoke machine, a lot of times it can save you a lot of time. If you want to know how this system works more in depth, and Chrysler LDP systems, their leak detection pumps, their NVLDs, their ESIM, I don't remember what that acronym stands for, similar to the NVLD. I'm going to put a link in the video to Mike over at Wells, or I guess it's NGK now. He did a very good in-depth video. It's about an hour and 40 minutes long, but covers all 3 Chrysler systems, how they work, how to test them, how they fail. Be sure to go over and check that out. Great guy. Probably most of you know him. He does a lot of live streams, live broadcasts and stuff, and I know that he covered this system particularly in depth and exactly how it works. So be sure to check that out. Let them know SMA sent you. Go down there, subscribe, ring the bell, and all that stuff. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.